Hi, welcome to ACCQ Continuing Professional Education. Pag-usapan naman natin ngayon yung tinatawag na expanded accounting equation. Previously, we have talked about the accounting equation. So, lahat ng mga transaction involving sa business is depicted dito sa equation na to, accounting equation, which is A is equal to L plus E, or assets is equal to liabilities plus equity. If you want to check that video, there's a link I placed somewhere in this video. This time, we're going to focus doon naman sa doon sa expanded accounting equation. Ano ba itong expanded accounting equation, or yung mas pinalawak pa na equation? So, if you take a look dito sa dito sa whiteboard, you can see that from A is equal to L plus E, or assets is equal to liability plus equity, to assets is equal to liabilities plus equity plus I less EX, or expenses. So I stands for income and EX stands for expenses. So makikita natin plus I less EX. So ito yung dinagdag natin, itong dalawang to. Now, the definition of income is that it is the increases in economic benefits during the period in the form of increases in assets or decreases in liabilities that result in increases in equity. So, ibig sabihin lang yan, let's say nakapagbenta yung company nung goods nila. So, magkakaroon sila ng pera, therefore it increases the assets, no? And increases also the capital or the equity of the company. Excluding those relating to investments by the business owner. So it only means that excluding yung investment or yung perang ipinasok ng owner, yung initial investment niya dun sa company. So these are two different types of sources of yung equity. Number one is yung galing dun sa owner, no, yung capital niya, yung pinang-invest niya, and number two, increase comes from the income, yung kinita niya dun na sa operation ng business. No, yung expenses naman, these are decreases in economic benefits during the period in the form of decreases in assets or increases in liabilities. So makikita natin yung nila, no, yung pagkakaiba nila. Kung sa income, increases in assets, dito naman sa expenses, decreases in assets. So increases in assets and decreases in assets, or increases in liabilities. So dun sa expenses, increases in liabilities, and dun naman sa sa income, decreases in liability. So kung ano lang yung kabaliktaran, that results in decreases in equity. So it results raw in decreases in equity, excluding those relating to distribution to the business owner. So a good example here sa expenses is that yung, let's say, nag-ooperate na yung business, no? So may pagpapasweldo dun sa mga empleyado. So itong na to, once na pinasweldohan mo na sila, of course mababawasan yung asset, yung pera ng company, kasi ipapasweldo mo dun sa mga empleyado, which are necessary to operate a business. So subukan mong lalo na kung malaki yung business mo, no, na subukan mo mag-operate ng walang kasama, so medyo mahirap 'yon, no? So kailangan mong pasweldohan yung mga nagtatrabaho sa iyo. So that is constitute decreases in assets and increases in liabilities. Bakit? Because the moment they have rendered their service sa iyo, magkakaroon ka na ng liability dito, no? 'Di ba? Yung napag-usapan natin sa liability. So in turn, itong expenses decreases also the equity of the company. Because there are two elements of aside from yung sa capital ng company, no, yung investment ng company, there are two elements that affects yung equity. Number one, yung increases doon sa operation, no? Which is income, and number two is yung decreases doon sa operation, which is yung expenses. So in turn it decreases also your equity. So ito yung tinatawag na yung bang to further illustrate that, to expand that, no? So assets is equal to liabilities plus equity plus or minus net income or net loss. So plus pagka net income, minus naman pagka net loss. So pagka net income, ang ibig sabihin lang yan, mas malaki yung income na kinita o yung perang pumasok kaysa doon sa perang lumabas. No, so kung let's say successful yung operation ng company, then net income, addition yun dun sa equity, in turn addition also dun sa asset. Pagka naman net loss, ibig sabihin mas malaki yung expenses kaysa dun sa income na pumasok, then it is a decrease to the equity or on the equity, and also decreases the assets. So we'll give you more examples on this one. So let's take up some examples of this expanded accounting equation. Like we said, all business transaction affects the accounting equation. Now to be more expanded, no? So isasama natin dito yung income tsaka expenses, no? Pero hindi all the time na apektuhan yung income saka yung expenses. Yung equity or liability yun. Medyo madalas. Kasi yung income, understood na nakapasok na yan sa, ipapasok yan dun sa equity and as well as yung expenses or the net income or net loss in the period. So, let's take up this example. So, it says here, A invested 10,000 in his business and borrowed 15,000 for a total of 25,000. So, paano natin ipa-plot yung mga numbers na yan dito sa accounting equation or dun sa expanded accounting equation? So, makikita natin dito, nadagdagan yung cash ni A for 10,000. So, cash is a form of asset. So, nadagdagan natin yan. So, 10,000. Now, of course, yung ininvest niya na 10,000, it also increases yung capital niya. So, it increases this one. So, lagay na lang natin 10K na lang. No? So, ito 10K. 10K. Okay. 10K. Yan. So, understood na 10K. So, makikita natin na equal in his business and borrowed 15,000. So, aside from the 10,000, which is his own money, nag-ano pa siya, nag-umutang pa siya, no? Para madagdagan yung assets niya, no? In the form of cash by 15,000. And then yung yung liabilities niya nagdagdagan rin ng 15,000 because yung 15,000 na yon inutang niya yon. So for a total assets of 25,000. Okay, so ito naman, so ilalagay natin dito plus 15 plus 10,000 will give you also 25,000. So 15 plus 10 is 25. No, so this is how it affects yung accounting equation. Now, ano yun? Kung that is always, that's always, no? It affects yung accounting equation. All business transaction, kailangan yung equality niyan should be maintained all the time. Maaring wala mo ng income or expenses, pero ito, yung basic accounting equation, it affects all the time. Now, yung definition natin ng asset, if in my previous video, if you want to check that out, you can go back to that video. Yung asset, it's not necessarily that you own. It's something that you control. Now, since may control ka na doon sa 15,000 na yun, then it becomes part of your asset. Now, going back again to this yung illustration na yan, so medyo gawin natin konting pahirapan natin ng konti, no? Pero papadaliin pa rin natin, no? So during the period, A earned income of 30,000 and incurred expenses of 24,000. So eto na, dito na magagalaw itong dalawang to. So lalagay natin dito, no? So ito na lang rin yung ano nila, gagawin na rin natin accounting equation nila to. No, so yung income madadagdagan ng 30,000 dito. So 30k for the income, no? And for the expenses, nabawasan raw ng 24k. Ayan. So if we will bring down lahat ng mga amounts from here, so this one, no? Kukunin natin yung pinaka ano niya, yung total nito. I mean yung difference nito, 30,000 less 24,000 is 6,000. So plus 6,000, nagdagdagan ng 6,000 yung assets niya. So ito naman, i-bring down lang natin to, 10k plus 15k. Okay, so if we get all the total here, so this would be 25 plus 6 would give you 31k. So let's bring this down. So 15k plus 10k, that would be 25 plus 30. 25 plus 30, that's 55 less 24k, that would give you 31. So equal pa rin sila, equal lagi yan. So in the next illustrations, we will take up more on this expanded accounting equation. So let's take up some variation of the accounting equation. Actually, lahat ng transactions sa business affects yung accounting equation. All of them practically, no? So we will take up cases for this one, how it affects yung accounting equation. It's important to note that this equal sign, no, yung equality should be maintained at all times, no? So let's take up number 1. A has total liabilities of 1,200 and equity of 800. So how much is A's total assets? So the missing here is the total assets. Yung liabilities niya is 1,200 and the equity is 800. So if you add this, 1,200 plus 800 will give you total assets of 2,000. There. Okay, so laging equal yan. It should not be mas mataas lagi to or mas mataas lagi to. It should be equal. Whether yung distribution nila hindi pantay pero yung kabuuan is total of this. The right side should be total of the left side. So let's take up another case. That's case number 2, which is total liabilities. A has a total assets of 2,000 and equity of 800. How much is A's total liabilities? So, given dito yung total assets na 2,000 and equity of 800. So, this one is missing yung liabilities niyan. Now, you can deduce from this equation na itong dalawa, yung total assets, pag minus mo dito sa equity, ilalabas is yung 1,200. O kung gusto mo, kopyahin mo na lang yun. No, huwag mo gagawin yun. That is not a proper way of to do it, no? You can also do another variation like this. So, since liabilities yung missing, so lagay natin dito, it's liabilities. Liabilities is equal to assets minus equity. Because assets minus equity will give you the liability, since the assets is the total of the liabilities and equity. So written in different form, no? Assets is 2,000 and liabilities is 800 will give you 1,200. So this must be 1,200. 1,200. So kahit hindi mo naman gawin ito, pwede mo nang you just squeeze the amount, no? So 800 plus 800 plus yung na yan, no? Or 2,000 less 800 will give you 1,200. Now case number 3, it's total equity. So let's lean this lower. So for the total equity, ito naman yung missing. A has total assets of 2,000 and liabilities of 1,200. How much are your total liabilities? So, tama ba? I think they're looking for equity, not liabilities. Dumoble ata. Kasi dito liabilities na. So, equity ang hinahanap dyan. Yan. Mali yung whiteboard. Yan. So, lagay natin dito, A has total assets of 2,000. There. And liabilities of 1,200. So, this one is missing. So, kung dito pa lang, makikita mo na kung ano yung missing na yan. No? So, this is 2,000. This is equal to 1, 2 plus. Of course, para maging 2,000 yan, should be 800. Pero, it's another way of writing is yung equity. We can write here equity. Dito na lang. Para kita. Yan. So, equity. And then, dito na lang. Sige. Ito, totoo na to. Dito na. Yan. Equity. Equity equals assets less liabilities. Because assets less liabilities is your net worth or your equity. So, if the asset is 2,000 and your liabilities is 1,200, so now this gives you 800. Okay, so 2,000 less 1,200 is 800. So, there are a lot of variations you can use dun sa accounting equation na yon, depending on kung sino yung missing. No, so, we'll have more cases on this one. Let's go now to case number 4.1. Ngayon naman, pag-usapan naman natin yung sa profit or loss, no? So, ito naman yung kasama na dun sa expanded accounting equation. Now, it's important to note that yung profit and income, sometimes they are interchanged as one and the same, no? So, ang income encompasses more, parang revenue, yung pinaka-income. Kung minsan yung income hindi pa nakabawas yung expenses doon, pero yung profit, ito yung pinaka-neto na or the net na makukuha, bawas na yung expenses dito. Now, having said that, let's take up case 4.1. So this is profit and loss. So if A has a total income of 5,000 and total expenses of 2,000, how much is A's profit or loss? So madali lang yan. So if this is income is 5,000 pesos, and the expenses, this is so negative, so lagyan natin ng parenthesis. So this is 2,000. Therefore, the profit, yung natira or the residue, no, would be 3,000. Okay, so this is the answer for that. No, very simple. Yeah. Nasamid tuloy ako, may nakaalala. Case number 4.2. Profit or loss. If A has total income of 6,000 and total expenses of 11,000, how much is A's profit or loss? So ganun pa rin yung yung pagkakasulat, no? So income, this is 6,000, and then less expenses, this is about 11,000, so parenthesis yan. So that would give you a profit of 6,000 less 11,000 would give you, mas malaki yung yung negative na 11,000. So the answer should be negative 5,000, yung sign yung negative. So this would be negative or loss. So there's such a thing as negative profit. So loss yan, no? Profit or loss. So this is a loss incidentally, not a profit. Kasi mas malaki yung expenses kesa dun sa income. Now, going to case number 5 here. So let's do this forward. There. So if A has total expenses of 2,000 and a profit of 3,000, how much is total income? So ito naman this is the missing one. no? So yung expenses niya, this is expenses. Expenses is how much? 2,000. And this is negative. And the profit, how much is the profit? Total expenses. And the profit is 3,000. Profit is 3,000. So magkano raw yung yung income. So you can work back or you can squeeze, no? So para maging ano yan, para maging 3,000 yan. So this must be 3,000 plus. Kung negative siya, ipa-plus mo ngayon siya. You work back, no? 3,000 plus 2,000, this would be 5,000 pesos. So 5,000. So in order to check your work, this is, so 5K, this is the income, this is the expenses is 2K, negative, and this is the profit, so 3K. So this is correct. And yung last case for this this one is no? Of course we have marami pang cases, no? Expenses. If A has a total income of 5,000 and a profit of 3,000, how much are your total expenses? Okay, so this one is given, yung income. And the income is 5,000 pesos. There. And the expenses is not given. The expenses is not given. So this is question mark. Okay, so let's handle this. And this one is profit. The profit, it says here, the profit is 3,000. So 3,000 pesos. So you can squeeze the amount, no? Pag sinabing squeeze, tignan mo lang yung difference ng dalawa. So this must be 2,000. So 5,000 less 3,000 is 2,000. Okay, negative. So in order to check, so 5K, again, this is, if this is income, if this is expenses, expenses is 2K. So this would be 3K. So the same profit. Okay, so your work is correct. So it's important to note yung pagka ini-interchange mo, it's like yung ano, madali, parang ano lang yan, yung bang equation lang yan, no? Yung income less expenses equals profit. So we have more cases regarding this one. This time we're going to use the expanded accounting equation. So paano ba yung mga transaction na ito na affect yung itong expanded accounting equation using the additional elements, income and expenses. So I prepared some of cases here, no, so to illustrate this point. So let's read. A has ending total assets of 4,800. Take note of those given. Ending total liabilities of 1,000. Isulat na natin. So dito yung asset raw is 4,800. Ending total liabilities of 1,000. And beginning equity is 800. So plus 800. If A's total expenses for the period amounts to 2,000, how much is A's total income? So ito yung missing, yung income, yung nasa dito. No? So we can squeeze. So there are approaches para masagutan ito. No? So there are, pwede natin i-squeeze yung amount. No? So just look at the signs. But another approach is this one. So to work back. So like this, so 4,800, if this is the asset, lahat ng mga ano dito, yung mga positive dito, ima-minus natin. So ilalagay natin dito. So, this is 4,800 since change ng sign sila, no? From positive to negative. So itong liabilities would be negative 1,000 or minus 1,000, and then minus 800 for the equity, tapos yung income, sige itapat natin para para makita mo. Yan, so minus, this one is minus 1,000, assuming isang ano lang sila, nasa isang side lang sila ng equation. So minus 1,000 minus 800, yung income mo na is, well, wala pa siya. Pero, i-add mo naman to. So, from negative to positive. Okay, so 4,000 minus 1,000 would give you 3,800. Minus 800 would give you 3,000. Minus or plus 2,000, 3,000 plus 2,000 would give you 5,000. So, this must be 5,000. Itong income na to. So, you can check. So, 1,000 plus 800 is 1,800 plus 5,000, that would be 6,800 minus 2,000, that would be 4,800. So, equal sila ng assets. Now, dito naman sa case number 8, so ganun rin, no? So, expenses for the period, dito yun naman yung missing. So, A has ending tool assets. When you say ending and beginning, we're talking about yung beginning of the year, like January 31. So, start of the year, yung operating period, no? If it's a calendar year, normally it starts at January 1 and ends on December 31. No, so when we hear yung words na yon, yung ending saka beginning or beginning and saka ending, we're just referring to start of the year and ending of the year, no? So, piece number 8, expense for the period. A has ending total assets of 4,800. Lagay natin dito, 4,800. Ending total liabilities of 1,000. And beginning equity of 800. So mapapansin natin, no, bakit yung assets ending tas yung equity is beginning, kasi hindi pa ina-account itong yung operations nila. So ito yung nag-change nung equity nila, yung operations for the year, yung income and expenses. Usually this is the operations nila for the year. So if your total income for the period amounts to 5,000, how much is the total expenses? So ito yung hinahanap natin, yung expenses. Now, using the same process we did a while ago, so 4,800. So this is positive, gagawin natin negative yung sign, no? So 4,800 minus 1,000 minus 800 minus 5,000. So, pagbabalik na rin lang natin. Parang nilagay natin yung one side of the equation dun sa other. So, from positive, naging negative sila. Ito naman, of course, plus, hindi natin alam kung ano yun. So, yun yung sign niya. So, 4,800 minus 1,000, that would be 3,800. Minus this one, 800, so that would be 3,000. Minus 5,000, so that would be... that's 3,000 minus 5,000, that would be negative 2,000, no? Negative 2,000. So this must be 2,000. And so in order to check, no? So 1,000 plus 800, that's 1,800, plus 5,000, that would be 6,800, minus 2,000, that would be, familiar? 4,800. So, equal sila. Okay, so if you have any questions regarding that, you can just shoot me a comment, no, down below in sa comment section. Now, let's go dun sa case number 1 o 9.1. So, ending equity naman. Now, incidentally, ang ending equity nitong case number 8 is 800 plus 5,000, that's 5,800 minus 2,000, no? That would be 3,800 yung ending equity niya. So 3,800 plus 1,000 is equal to 4,800. Yun yung accounting equation niya. Okay, so let's go now here, no? So A has beginning equity of 5,000. If A has total income for the period is 8,000 while A's total expense is 6,000, how much is the ending balance of A's equity? So, lagay lang natin dito is beginning equity is 5,000. Total income, so i-add lang natin dun sa beginning equity is the income. Okay, total income for the period is 8,000. Okay, and while A's total expenses is 6,000, so minus naman natin expenses. Yan, minus natin expenses. Okay, expenses. Okay, so this one is 6,000. Yan. So, pwede rin ganito para mas makita natin. So, lalagay na natin dyan na add deduct na lang. Add deduct income or expenses. So, pagka-deduct ganyan. Okay, so how much is the ending balance of A's equity? So 5,000 plus 8,000, that would be 13,000 minus 6,000, that would be 7,000. Ito yung equity ni ending equity of A after considering yung income and expenses. Now let's go to the last one, yung 9.2. So ending equity, A has beginning equity of 12,000. So lalagay natin dito is beginning equity of 12,000. If A's total income for the period is 5,000, so lagay natin add deduct ulit, add deduct, add slash deduct income is for the period is 5,000, so positive yan. While A total expenses is 8,000, so lagyan natin parenthesis. How much is the ending balance of A's equity? So ganun rin, no? So 12,000 plus 5,000, that would be 17,000 less 8,000, that would be 9,000. You can check out the answer. So this would be ending equity. So you see the changes in the equity, no? From 12,000 naging 9,000 na lang. Why? Kasi mas malaki yung expenses for the period kesa dun sa income niya, no? So that's why it's 9,000. Pero dito mas malaki yung income niya kesa dun sa expenses. Kaya from beginning of 5,000 naging 7,000. Okay, we'll take up some examples again of the profit and losses, kung paano, how it affects yung total equation. Now this time we have case number 10.1. So profit for the period. So if A's beginning equity is 5,000 while A's ending equity is 7,000, how much is A's profit or loss for the period? So ilalagay lang natin dito, this one is the beginning capital or beginning equity. So beginning equity. Okay, beginning equity of A is 5,000 pesos. And this one is the profit or loss. So this one is either add or minus or less profit or loss. So wala pa yan. And this one is the ending equity. Ending equity. The ending equity is 7,000. So as you can see, naka-arrive ka dito pero hindi mo alam to. So what you can do is just simply deduct this 7,000 or this 5,000 from this one. So you get 2,000. So the profit is actually 2,000. So another way of writing that is 7,000, which is your ending equity. Pagbaliktarin mo lang, equity end is 7,000 minus your beginning equity of 5,000, you will have 2,000. So this would be your profit. Profit, why? Kasi nag-increase yung equity mo to 7,000. Okay, so 5,000 plus profit of 2,000 will give you an ending equity of 7,000. Now, for the next scenario, yung sa 10.2, loss for the period. So, if A's beginning equity is 6,000, while A's ending equity is 2,000, how much is A's profit or loss for the period? So, makikita natin, yung beginning equity niya is 6,000. Tapos, yung ending equity, 2,000 na lang. So, parang nabawasan ata. So, therefore, meron siyang loss. So, isulat ulit natin. So, this one is the beginning equity. So, this one is for 6,000. And then, yung ending equity niya, ending equity, this one is 2,000. So, ito yung hinahanap natin. How much is A's profit or loss? So, again, add or deduct profit or loss. Now, since makikita natin na nabawas, na parang lumita tayong equity niya, therefore, negative, dyan pala makikita natin, if we squeeze the amount, it's negative 4,000. Or, another way of writing that, so, mag-start tayo from the bottom. So, ending equity, ending katulad ng ginawa natin dun sa taas, ending equity of 2,000 less yung beginning equity. Kukunin natin yung difference. So, this would be 6,000. Okay, so negative siya. So, 2,000 less of course, parang negative siya. 2,000 less 6,000 would give you negative 4,000. Yan, so lalagay natin dito. So, this one is negative 4,000. Kasi mas malaki yung sign yung beginning equity. So, this one is 4,000. To signify this. So, 6,000 minus 4,000 will give you 2,000. And yung sa case number 11, so ganyan natin ng konti. Yan. Para makita. Yan. So, A has total assets, liabilities, and equity of 10,000, 7,000, and 3,000 respectively at the beginning. So, sulat na natin 10,000 equals 7,000 kasi total assets, liabilities, and equity plus 3,000. Yan. So, during the period, A's total liability decreased by 4,000. So, lumiit raw ng 4,000. So, lagay natin dito. So, from 7,000, naging 3,000 na lang. So, decreased by to 3,000. So, ingat kayo dun sa word na yun. Decreased by or decreased to. Pag decreased to 3,000, dito na siya. Ito na yung pinaka-balance ng liability. Since decreased by, dito siya yung bumaba na. So, decreased by 4,000. Oh, ito pala yan. Decreased by 4,000. So, therefore, 3,000 na lang yung niya, yung liabilities niya. While A's profit was 5,000. So, nadagdagan raw yung niya, yung equity niya by the profit, no? Kasi yung profit is an element of the equity. So, for 5,000, this one. So, 3 plus 5 would give you 8,000. So, how much is A's ending total assets? So, i-add mo lang yan. No? So, 8 plus 3 would give you 11,000. There. Okay, so this is the answer. So, you can check that now if you want. No? Now, this one, ito naman, yung last case, ending total assets, A has total assets, liabilities, and equity of 10,000, 7,000, and 3,000 respectively at the beginning of the period. During the period, A's total liabilities decreased to 4,000 while A's profit was 5,000. How much is A's total balance, no? So, ganun din yun, no? So, ganun din yung gagawin natin. So, ito na lang isulat natin dito para mas makita natin, no? So, we'll try to, conserve some space, no? So, ganyan. Tandaan mo na lang, 11,000 yung total asset yung sagot dito. Okay, so this one should be yung total assets niya. Assets. So this one is case 12 to, number 12 to. So total assets equals liabilities plus equity. Okay, so it says here A has total assets, liabilities, and equity of 10,000. This is the beginning, beginning. 7,000 and 3,000. Okay, so respectively at the beginning of the period. During the period, A's total liabilities decreased to. So pagka sinabing decrease to, ito na yung yung liabilities niya, decrease to. Okay, kasi kanina decreased by 4,000, so dito siya. Dito, yung changes lang niya. Pero pagka decrease to, ito na yung ending balance ng liabilities. While A has a profit of 5,000. So ito plus 5,000. So this one, so 3 plus 5 would give you 8,000. So 8 plus 4 would give you 12,000. So the total assets would be 12,000. So that's the answer for number 12, case number 12. So if you have any questions or comments or whatever suggestions you want, so just comment below. So for now, stay safe, God bless, and keep your hands clean.